Are all family cases, family disputes, family breakups suitable for mediation?
That's a really good question. And this is one of the big challenges that faces both mediators and those agencies and people who are involved in trying to divert cases into mediation out of the more adversarial framework of the courts. And the short answer is no, not all cases are suitable for family mediation. And that is why screening is what we call it, or a suitability assessment is a hugely important part of the family mediation process to ensure that the cases and the people we're working with are in the right process and that mediation is suitable for them. So a few of the issues, for example, are the situations that might give rise to pause and assessment as to whether mediation might be suitable are first and foremost any threat or any form of potential interpersonal violence between the parties. That's not to say that all cases where there might have been violence in the past are de facto unsuitable for mediation, but the most important thing is that people's individual rights, and particularly their right to safety and bodily integrity, are protected, so that mediation doesn't put them in a situation where they might be harmed or where they might be in danger. And family mediation can sometimes trigger conflict that is maybe more latent or has died down a little bit because it is a challenging process. So various different processes and procedures exist to prevent this. In the UK, for example, I know that you have mediation information and assessment meetings where not only are the parties provided with information on the mediation process, but the mediator has the opportunity to ascertain whether there is any threat or whether there are any contraindications to mediation. Other factors that might impact upon the suitability of mediation could be substance abuse, mental health issues, which is a really difficult one because a lot of people who are going through marriage breakdown, separation, will have reactive mental health issues of some kind. So it's a question often of tailoring the process to meet those needs as well and to take account of those needs. Sometimes, though, a factor that might preclude mediation could be parties coming to mediation with incorrect information. And this is unfortunately something that, as mediation in Ireland, for example, grows in the absence of a clearly regulated framework, and particularly a framework of information, people might come to mediation with the misapprehension that, number one, it's relationship counselling and the mediator is there to help the parties get back together. Or number two, that the mediator will make a judgment or a decision of some kind. So there is some inaccurate information out there, and sometimes parties will come to mediation with an agenda or a desire for an outcome that mediation can't meet. And finally, sometimes people just aren't ready for mediation yet. I would always be a little bit concerned or wary if somebody approached me for mediation and, you know, the separation had occurred within the last week or a few days ago, or even within the last month, where emotions are so raw and there's so much shock involved that people couldn't possibly be asked to start to develop options on where they might be living in a year's time. So it's not a one-size-fits-all process, and that aspect of the process of assessing suitability is really, really important.